A revolution misunderstood? Soon, Egyptians will go to the polls to democratically elect a president. But what about the choice? Is this a contest pitting the military against Islam?
But the threat that radical Islamism and revolutionary Islamism poses, not just to internal Egyptian politics, but to the wider region, needs to be carefully examined.
Amongst one of the biggest bases are the bases that are near Egypt, because they're worried about an Islamic government ever arising from Egypt. They're so worried, that's why they give millions and millions of dollars to the Egyptian army in order to protect it from ever allowing any to ever rise in Egypt.
The second round will now be a runoff between the Muslim Brotherhood's candidate Mohamed Morsi and Ahmed Shafiq. Christians and secular liberals are anxious about the prospect of a victory by Morsi.
But I'm saying we must not fall for that trick, and everyone in Egypt should vote for Dr. Morsi for president.
And wherever he speaks, Morsi makes clear Egypt will be transformed politically, economically, and socially through the principles of Islam. It's balm for many of the faithful who relied on the once-banned Brotherhood during the hardships of the old government. Supporter Hanan Zakaria.
Mohamed Morsi deserves the presidency. Today we live in Egypt. In the name of Dr. Mohamed Morsi, we live in Egypt. In the past we weren't. We were living in exile.
Fatima couldn't make it up the stairs to vote. She had a stroke a few months ago, so election workers brought the papers, the ballot, and the ink to her. I want the scale, she says, referring to the electoral symbol for the Muslim Brotherhood's presidential candidate, Mohamed Morsi. In a country where almost a third of all adults are illiterate, the symbol is key. We want him to fix the country, she tells me. We want him to look after the Muslims and care for our children. The Brotherhood's popularity is based upon a network of social services the Egyptian state can't or won't provide, and the perception among many that the brothers are pious and untainted by corruption.
Tahrir swelled with thousands of protesters by early afternoon. Under a blaring sun, they waited impatiently for an announcement they expected last week. The surrounding coffee shops in the downtown area were packed. Anxious Egyptians eagerly waited to find out whether the announcement of the election results would unleash a celebration or violence. As Egyptians watched their hopes hanging on the announcement, the tension seemed unbearable as the head of the Electoral Commission gave a detailed breakdown of votes in various governance.
The winner of the presidential election of the 16th and 17th of June 2012 is Dr. Mohamed Morsi Issa Alayat.
Then the moment finally came. From Tahrir Square to the Bustan coffee shops and the revolutionaries in the Borsa. Immediately, thousands streamed into Tahrir.
Mohamed Morsi won with a tally of 51.73%. His rival, former Mubarak Prime Minister Ahmed Shafiq, gained 48.27%. Muslim Brotherhood supporters were euphoric.
I thank God for leading us to this landslide victory, I call on Egyptians of all classes and communities from east to west, north to south to support Dr. Mohamed Morsi.
Morsi is the first civilian and Islamist to become head of state in modern Egypt. His election is the culmination of a 16-month transition following the revolution. However, the result's unlikely to put an end to the main power struggle in the country. Morsi's Muslim Brotherhood could well find itself at loggerheads with the military, which has recently increased its powers.
Cheers erupt in Cairo's Tahrir Square after Islamist Mohamed Morsi of the Muslim Brotherhood is declared Egypt's first democratically elected president.
Thank God. This is a victory from God. I cannot put my feelings into words, but we really suffered from oppression and despotism. They said things that were untrue. They circulated rumors against the revolution, but Allah has decided to void their claims and to grant us this victory.
الحمد لله ربنا أكرمنا وتوج زوجنا بكل خير. الحمد لله فوز الدكتور مرسي.
كل حاجة كويسة، على الأقل يجيب كل وزير محترم في كل مكان ينظف البلد كلها من الفساد اللي قعد 30 سنة ده متبهدلنا فيها. الحمد لله الحمد لله.
The winner in the election, the runoff has been declared. He is Mohamed Morsi. Morsi, a former Brotherhood official, gives Egypt its first Islamist president.
For decades, the Muslim Brotherhood was banned in this country, its leaders arrested. But now, the Muslim Brotherhood appears to have won Egypt's presidency. It is a nightmare for this country's secular military. Thousands of people are packed in here in Tahrir Square, and here they are not describing this so much as a victory for democracy, although they do acknowledge that it was democratic elections that brought the Muslim Brotherhood to power. But instead they say this is a victory for Islam handed down by God. In Tahrir, crowds hold up copies of the Quran. This is our constitution, they shout. Morsi wants to impose Islamic law, limit the rights of women. His party is not pro-American, as Mubarak was for decades, and he is fiercely anti-Israel.
القرآن دستورنا والرسول زعيمنا والجهاد سبيلنا والموت في سبيل الله أسمى أمانينا وفوق كل ذلك الله غايتنا ولا خير لهذه الأمة لا خير فيها ولا خير لها ولا نهضة إلا بشريعة الإسلامية. أعاهد الله وأعاهدكم جميعا بغض النظر عن المكتوب أو النص، وإن كان النص سيكون إن شاء الله معبرا حقيقيا باتفاق الشعب المصري العلماء.
رأينا حلم الخلافة الإسلامية، حلم أرض الخلافة يتحقق بإذن الله على يد الدكتور محمد مرسي ومن معه من إخوانه وجماعته وحزبه. ستعود الولايات المتحدة العربية على يد هذا الرجل ومن معه إن شاء الله.
بكرة مرسي حرر غزة. أنا مصري بكل عزة. على القدس رايحين شهداء بالملايين.
من عيون كل اليهود طيار النعاس. يلا يا عشاق الشهادة كلكم حماس. نعم، كل عشاق الشهادة هم حماس، ونقولها من هنا، من المحلة، من قلب الدلتا، من قلب مصر، وليسمع العالم جميعا. ولن نوري ولن نواري ولن نداهن. نعم، هدفنا القدس. سنصلي في القدس أو ننال الشهادة على أعتاب القدس.
Apart from the strategic place that Egypt has with its borders with Israel and the rest of the Muslim world, and the strong wealth of population, and the kuffar, they know if Egypt to be guided, the rest of the Middle East will be guided, and if the rest of the Middle East is guided, the rest of the Muslim world will be guided. That's why we talk about Egypt. That's why Egypt is so important. And we are here at a turning point. And my respected brothers, Egypt, it's always been the fortress of Islam. Always.
مجلس شورى العلماء، وقرر المجلس بالإجماع دعم الدكتور محمد مرسي لرئاسة الجمهورية وتأييده.
أحبائي جميعا، أتوجه إليكم بحمد الله سبحانه وتعالى. نحمد الله جميعا على بلوغنا هذه اللحظة التاريخية.